Let's all come in so we can start. I apologize, we're a few minutes late. We were trying to accommodate as many people as possible. So good morning, my name is Lola Odabo. I'm your MC for today. I'm a seasoned hospitality person. Hospitality is all I've done until very recently, where I verged into recreation somewhat, but hospitality is all I know. So welcome to Hospitality 4.0, hosted by Women in Hospitality Nigeria. Our goal is to take women to incredible places in the hospitality industry whilst making a mark in Nigeria to grow hospitality. Because we all know that hospitality is, yes, it exists, but I think we're still at our infancy stage in Nigeria. So it's for us to move it from where it is, where it's going, with women mostly. We need to move the men over. Men, I hope you don't mind. We're coming to take over. So we'll start by taking the national anthem, the second stanza, please. Creation, direct our noble cause, guide our lead and right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow and living just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Thank you. Please be seated. So now we'll take the opening notes by Justina Ovat, the President of Women in Hospitality Nigeria. Justina?
Good morning, our special guests of honor, the President, Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria, Mr. Nkeruwem Onum, Mrs. Adenike Adedoyin Ajayi, who is here in dual capacity as representative of the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism and as Permanent Secretary of the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. The Director of Tourism Promotion, Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mrs. Oni. The Honorary Chairman, Institute of Hospitality UK Nigeria, Professor Wasiu Babalola. Our distinguished panelists, members of the Executive Committee of the Women in Hospitality Nigeria, tourism and hospitality industry practitioners here present, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little over 3 months ago, I stood at Providence Hotel, Lagos, to make my acceptance speech as president of this great initiative, Women in Hospitality Nigeria, And today, the excitement is even more as we host our very first event under my leadership. This event, Hospitality 4.0, was scheduled to hold in March 2020. However, due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the event was postponed indefinitely. I am happy that you survived. I am happy that you're here today. I am happy that despite being one of the most affected industries, tourism hospitality is still waxing strong, and even more importantly, because you are here to have these conversations around issues affecting the industry. I am very confident that the industry can only get better, stronger, and productive, contributing immensely to the nation's GDP. At the third edition of this event in September 2019, our focus was on raising the bar with a view or objective of coming up with a service delivery model that meets international standards or best practices. Today, gathered in this room are experts, industry practitioners, and policymakers who will be helping define a direction, prefer implementation solutions, and a roadmap on how we can leverage local experiences for hospitality and tourism growth in Nigeria. There is no gainsaying that as a nation, we have been blessed with enormous tourism potential across the 6 geopolitical zones. But the question that has always begged for answers remains: how much of our local content and experiences have we harnessed to grow the industry? Ladies and gentlemen, I guess you're eager to dive into the conversation, just as I am. But first, let me once again appreciate all our special guests and panelists who have graciously honored our invitation in spite of your very busy schedules. Let me also thank the executive members and the entire WIN family for keeping up with our industry development and culture despite the many challenges. Sit back and get ready to learn, unlearn and relearn, because now tourism, when they raise billions, now him we want to talk about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Justina. Thank you. So welcome everyone again to Hospitality 4.0. The theme for today's event is leveraging local experiences for hospitality and tourism growth in Nigeria. So we're kicking off with a goodwill message by Mr. Nkerwem Onu, President of EFTAN.
Thank you. The President of Women in Hospitality Nigeria, Mrs. JustinaOvat, members of the association, our guest speaker for today, Professor Wasiu Babalola, this lady I admire so much, Princess Adenike Adedoyin Ajayi, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. My friend, Mrs. Oni, other guest speakers and panelists for today's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, it is my pleasure to be part of Hospitality 4.0, organized by Women in Hospitality in Nigeria, with the theme leveraging local experiences for hospitality and tourism growth in Nigeria. I want to start by commending the founders and leadership of Women in Hospitality Nigeria for setting up an association that is meant to unify and support women in the industry, hospitality sector in particular. The mission that you have to inspire and empower your members is very commendable. We have some statistics that has to do with women in hospitality. We are told by, I think, Julia Campbell that 55% of the entire workforce in hospitality are women. Another statistic says about 70. Someone now says that only about 11% of this number is in leadership position, is in management position. And I want to believe that an association like this will have one of its primary purpose and vision to raise these numbers. That beyond having a larger number than men in the hospitality industry, you should also aspire to have increase your number of those who are in the leadership position, so that the impact will also water down. Every time I hear about growth in tourism in Nigeria, I become very worried. First of all, as voice of private sector tourism in Nigeria, and also as a practitioner. Very worried for many reasons. One of it could be that as a country, I get worried that the things we're supposed to do from the policymakers is not done. Where we're going to be in the future is not known. So every time we find the private sector initiative like this that is trying to contribute its quota to the growth of tourism in Nigeria, we need to greatly applaud them. Because there is nowhere tourism has thrived without strong government participation. Nowhere. And why we say this is because there are a lot of things in our industry that doesn't show that we understand that for the season and the times that we are, the lowest hanging fruit for this economy is tourism. Now, we have had various statistics. The other day, the CBN governor told us that 3.5% of our GDP is used as intervention during the COVID-19. Now, that is black and white. And we have a GDP total of about 432 or thereabout, $450 billion as a nation. Now 3.5% of that would mean that over $15 billion is being pumped into our economy to resuscitate, activate, and bring some level of ameliorations, to the pains of COVID-19. And the question we want to ask, where did this money go to? Now, these are issues of our industry in our country. Now, when you look at maybe African statistics, not even the global statistics, it is true that certain countries, about 6, 7 of them, Morocco, Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, contribute to about 75% of African economy. Now, in that statistics, the other ones, except Nigeria, contributes to about 65% of African arrivals in tourism. Now, what that means is this: that's the same countries, arrivals, and the whole of West Africa doesn't have more than 10% arrivals. That means the only country that is not benefiting from that tourism is not forming its economic impact is Nigeria. And so that's where we need to at all times commend the initiative, the things private sector people are doing, the trainers, the experts, their contributions to our economy. We need to greatly, greatly appreciate that. Now, having said so, is our peculiar problems. And that's where, when I commend Lagos State, I have been around for a while. And I know that there was a time Cross River State was #1 in tourism in Nigeria. but today. Now, Professor Wasiu was on that platform a few days ago. And we began to ask certain questions. Now, what's the impact of the Supreme Court judgment of 2013 on our economy and our tourism economy? Is great. But then the states now understand their role. Now that's where Lagos State has risen up. Today they have a tourism master plan, and I think they are trying to implement it. Now what they are doing with the Lagos, year-end, expo, is to say, look, we now appreciate our strategic position as Lagos State, and want the whole world during Christmas for 31 days, 42 days, to be part of Lagos event. I want you to understand what that will make to the economy of Lagos State. Now we have states who had begun earlier, contributed so much, and then because there's no flow in administration, these things are dropped. So it's pathetic, it's a problem, and so we need to commend those who are doing well. Women in hospitality, I commend what you're doing, gathering your experts, people together, so we can keep the discussion on. Because we're going to come to one day that Nigeria will certainly realize. Now we have the electric cars everywhere now. It's coming up. And so if we're still depending on oil, then we are not thinking about the future. I commend the association for putting this together. I won't stop commending Lagos State because they are doing well, because that is the truth. It's not because I'm here. And to also commend their strong partnership with the private sector. Now, we've never seen where some states appreciate the fact that they need private sector. When the current commissioner came in, she's not even from this industry in terms of her background. But we haven't seen in some years now, there hasn't been someone who has made this level of impact in the industry, like the commissioner represented, by the PS here. That means that any state that understands the place of private sector, we understand the other issues of not identifying credible persons to, partner with. It's always going to bring an added value to the industry. I believe also that WIN will grow and one day become part of the federation and add to the voice of private sector tourism in Nigeria. For FTAN, just in July I was elected as president. Now, what are we doing right now? We're strengthening the structures. We're setting up the zonal councils according to Constitution. We're also strengthening the state committees. Now, the moment we have the 36 state coordinators properly strengthened, we have 7 vice presidents, properly strengthened, then we can get into advocacy. So when we speak from anywhere, there will be anchors of 36, coordinators of the federation, and there will be also anchors of all these, the regions. And at the end, we'll be able to raise our voice and begin to query certain things directly. For now, I want to appreciate the fact that I was invited here, and I also want to commend the organizers for what they are doing. This is adding to what we're talking about. Everyone needs to rise because government needs to understand that they need tourism for the future and now. Thank you for the privilege to be here. I'd like to commend you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So as we all know, hospitality and tourism have been affected by COVID-19. So what it means for us is at a point in time, there was no income for both sectors. And what the world has done is to turn to domestic tourism and hospitality. So that's mostly where it's coming from. Yes, people are traveling now, but when you consider the cost of your visa, the cost of your flight, and also the cost of the vaccines, it's actually more sustainable to travel local. So it's for us to, leverage on local experiences by building the places we know. So how many of us have been outside the state we live in? Anybody? How many of us in the last 6 months been outside the state we live in for tourism? For tourism. It's a small number of us. But that's the sad truth about us. We're not very patriotic to ourselves. But having said that, infrastructure is an issue. I mean, we have the bad roads, so we do understand that. But I mean, this is something we need to start to think, look inwards, and start to think of how we can do better. In the UK, for instance, there's so many places to go. You're in London. From London, you've gone here. You hop on the train. You know, you enter a car. You're in the next city, and all of that. Same with America. But having said that, Americans are actually not as adventurous. Most of them stay in that one state for the longest time. So it's for us to, you know, build on that, because previously we were more leaning more towards international business, and international business has gone down. First of all, with COVID, and of course with recession. So it's for us to, you know, come together, boost ourselves, and of course lean on government to help us build sustainable infrastructure. So starting with our roads. So accessibility is an issue, be it the roads, be it by airport. So we do accessibility. Internet is something that's very important. Once you move out of Lagos, there are certain parts that the internet is a bit dodgy. And everybody needs to be in touch nowadays. We can't afford not to. So without further ado, I will go on to hand over to our keynote speaker, Professor Wasiu Babalola. Dr. Babalola is a seasoned hospitality consultant, guru, everything hospitality. He has a lot of academic experience. He's a certified higher education accreditor recognized by GUNI Africa and African. Is an alumnus of the Lagos State Polytechnic. He has a PhD in hospitality management, and he's an author, a columnist, and contributor to hospitality, tourism, and multidisciplinary magazines and journals of international standards. He's a fellow of the Institute of Hospitality UK and the honorary chairman of the Institute. I happen to have met him, how many years ago? Over 10 years ago, yeah, when we came together to restart the Institute of Hospitality Nigeria branch. It was Dr. Babalola, myself, Trevor Ward, and Tosin. So 4 of us, we started it, and I'm happy to introduce Dr. Babalola to take the keynote address.
Thank you, Lola. My president and sister, Justin Naovat, the president of the Federation of Tourism Association, my president, Mr. Onung, the PAMSEC, Ministry of Tourism, Lagos State, all dignitaries present, my fellow colleagues and industry movers. It's an honor to be here. But before I go on, I want to plead with everyone and apologize that I'll be allowed to leave after the speech, maybe 5 minutes after my keynote address. For the one reason that I'm dressed to be a father-in-law today. My foster daughter is getting married today, but I've sent my wife, and the family understands that this is my life. I need to be here. But all the same, I'm here, and we need to talk about our industry. Now, so interesting, as professors, we're taught to speak for at least 4 hours. But when I saw my FTAM president, I said, he's a busy man. Let me remove 1 hour. 3 hours should be okay. Then I realized the PAMSEC is here, government. Let me take 1 hour, 2 hours. Then I realized we are women and we have families to take care of. Let me take 1 hour. Then for the remaining 1 hour, no student will be able to pass with 1 hour course. So I said, let me try and make it 2 hours. Then I saw the program, 20 minutes. I said, that's interesting. I have to stick to that. At least once we get the 20 minutes, we can all pass. Please, the next slide. Please, if you look at the slide, I'll be talking to the slide because I don't want this to look more academic. I want to make it fuse academics and the way we discuss in profession, and also to put into practice some of the things we've learned in the class. That when you're talking to adults, try to use more of pictures. They tend to follow you and they'll learn faster. People remember what they see more than what they hear. I'm here today because of that wonderful woman there, Dr. Mrs. Caroline Ogunlade. Most of you might have known her, passed through her class. She was formerly with Lagos State Polytechnic. She retired from Federal Polytechnic, Ede, and she's now the head of the department of Elizade University. My first contact with this industry, I was a frustrated being. I had 8 subjects in the WAEC. I got 7 A's, 1 pass, and I think 1 pass, 8 A's. And I never wanted to sit at home. And she said, well, let me just give you a trial. And that trial since 1994, I don't think I can be anything better than what I'm doing. So please, what I'm going to present, if it looks nice, actually she taught me in school. And she gave me the foundation. So if I'm going to do wonderfully well, the praises goes to her. That's why I put in her email, send her an email that, ma'am, we witnessed the speech of one of your products. You are doing wonderfully. Please keep up the good work. But in case I misbehave, remember I said she taught me. That means the fault is mine. I'll go back and I'll try and dust my books. And to that wonderful lady beside her, that's my wife. I can tell you, she personified the word of the Bible when God said, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and get the favor. She has been able to take care of the home front so that I can be whatever I want to be with my profession. She was trained as an economics, but I can tell you she opens hotels now. She's also into hospitality. And that's the beauty. Once you are in hospitality, you don't leave. You can retire, you can go on vacation, you still come back. And I know we have a banker here who ended up becoming president of EFTAN, but that's not for today. Please, the next slide. Now, when I was asked to talk, I said, look, we're academics. And also, I'm a professional. Forget the grammar Lola said about me. I'm also an investor. I'm the Senior Vice President CEO for Africa Continent Worldwide Hotel. We're an European brand. We've signed about 6 hotels in Africa, and our first hotel is operational, is in Akure. In fact, is the only functional international brand in the whole of Ondo State. And the hotel has been able to turn Akure around. When we opened in February, the average rate of hotels in Akure was 12,500. As at last month, we did 25,441. It means when you put value into the system, we will pay. So that's it. So when government says we've done much for tourism, you've not done any. When you do more, you get it in your GDP because we have the money, but if we don't say the value, we don't pay. So hospitality is indeed in crisis. When I mean hospitality, I mean hospitality and tourism. And what we're trying to do, when I got the topic, I said, look, I need to go back to basics and we need to understand some basic things about our profession, the philosophy behind our profession. Now, what I'm trying to say today is to some of us, hospitality is a profession because it puts foods on our table, because we represent it. But to some of us, it's a philosophy. that you need it in everywhere you find yourself. And that's what we want to understand today, that we are part of the few professions that have evolved into a philosophy. And all we need to understand is to understand those elements in that philosophy and apply it in wherever we are. And at the end of my presentation, we'll try as much as possible to apply hospitality in government, in business, in our personal self. And we realize it is a solution we have. Hospitality can be domesticated. What we have in government now is somebody who travel to Korea. You will see a very good design in Korea. You fly to Japan, you see an helipad. You go to another country, he sees their fish, and he wants to come to Lagos and turn everything in Lagos. It's not working. The solution in Japan is to solve Japanese problem. We have a solution back home, and that is what we want to do, that Nigerians have a model that sells. Now, during COVID, globally, hotel rates nosedive, but it was going up in Nigeria. So that means we need to understand, we have solution to ourselves. All we need to do, we need to leverage and add value to ourselves. So please, next slide. So at a point, you may sound confused that what is this man talking about? But please, note that academics and professionals, we are always at different pool. The only advantage I have is part of my brain is academics. Majority where I'm making money is from, at least on the field. So I know when to blend it too. And we tend to misrepresent academics. But I got home about 2 weeks ago, and my SS2 kid brought me a mathematics assignment, and it's factoring. And in factoring, for you to find the square root, you need to create a solution to be the third figure before you can find the square root. So that shows that in solving our problem, sometimes we need to go out of the box for the solution to be solved. That is mathematics. But we use it in business, for those who understand. In biology, SS2, SS3, we're told diversion. That when something from a higher strength goes into a lower strength, that is what those marketers call their push strategy. In biology, we're taught osmosis. That is what we call push strategy in marketing. So nothing is going to be a waste. It depends on the perception at which we are looking at. Please, next slide. So this is where we are. The world is disrupted. Everybody knows before we had Ebola. But I keep telling researchers, we have a solution to COVID. But the problem we have, we rely on the Western world to solve the problem. And that's why they needed 18 months to do a vaccine, and they are using us as at least guinea pig within 6 months. But when Ebola was an African problem, they didn't find a solution to it. Didn't Lagos lead the challenge? And we got Ebola curtailed. Now, why do we have to go back to the whites? Because it's COVID. Why not Africans stand? Because we've done it before. When the whole world thought we were going to go down, we stopped Ebola. Then we can. But because education sometimes tends to take us off our track. English is an Oyibo language. I can't speak better than them. So when there are issues, I want to listen to them. Please, I beg of you, what I'll be saying is not a philosophy said by John Stone, that we don't know the meaning of John and Stone. It's one that we've researched for over 5 years, that I've done even before I became a professor, that I'm doing while I'm a professor, and hopefully in the next 2 years, I should get it published to the whole world. Now let them criticize and let's talk about it. And it's so glaring, we need to think about the solution. That's why we can leverage on the local content. If you believe everything is about Oyibo, then there is no point we sitting down here and discussing. And that is what I will be showing us today. So the whole system is disrupted. And when things are disrupted, it means some people brought us to that point. Now, the person that has brought me to a problem, that is the best thing he could do. So the only way for me out of that problem is either to retrace my step back or to think outside the box and factor myself out of the problem. And that is the approach I've put into this, my keynote address. Please, next slide. So, I tried to put in a research online, and I asked on LinkedIn, when it comes to hospitality business, assuming all variables are same, who will you prefer to lead the executive or your top management? So interesting. 52% said female. 48 said male. Actually, it's not up to 48. It was 47.52 and 52.48. I said, okay, let's just make it 48 and 52. Now, just let's keep this data. I'm going to explain this data because it speaks a lot to where we are leveraging it. Remember I said, when I am in a problem, there are two ways out of the problem. Either I go back to know how I get to that problem point, or I think outside the box. Two things. Now, please remember those two things, and we're still coming back to speak to this slide. Next slide, please. So that means in the business world, everyone loves women. We want women to lead, 52%, at least popular vote. This we want to talk about hospitality and tourism for we to understand how did we get to this point. Now, if we look at Genesis 18, that was the first time we can make reference to the origin of hospitality when the Bible told us, I love quoting Bible even though I'm a Baba Adini, I'm a Muslim, I'm married to a Baptist, and that's the beauty of this part of the world. The Bible said when Abraham was with his wife, and he saw some people coming, and he looked at them that these people are tired. They will need food, they will need drink, and where to put their head. That means hospitality is all about anticipation. And he went to them, he welcomed them into his abode, and he gave them food, he gave them water, and they have somewhere to relax. And when they were going, they said, we're going to give him a gift. They were going. He was not meant to get that gift. But because of the hospitality he has shown, he was blessed. And that is when we collect money from our guests. So, the first hospitality practitioner we had is Uncle Abraham, Grandfather Abraham, Great-Grandfather Abraham. But do you know what this has put into our mindset? Hospitality is all about the man. That is it. Because it's a man that started hospitality. And that is where the philosophy is coming in. And that's why when you look at our present day hospitality business, men are more pronounced. How many GM, at least, Oga just said it, 11% are in top management, 89 are men. But do we realize Sarah was also in the picture? Yeah, she was. But because men, we liked taking the show, Abraham was the man we saw. But Sarah was there. But what happens to Sarah? That is the basis of where my philosophy is going in. Now, please, next slide. Now, what I'm trying to describe today is to discuss hospitality as a solution, not looking at hospitality as feminine, as if I'm talking about our PAMSEC, as if I'm talking about our president, but we want to look at what makes us a female and what are the feminine elements, things that make you female that we can pick to solve our problem. Now, please, next slide, because I have less than 12 minutes. Now, I quickly have to put this caveat. Now, what we're talking today is not about feminine dominance. I'm not saying, yes, sack all the male, put female. No, that's not the solution. We are not saying prefer the female to the male. Even though on LinkedIn, people said we want female than male. I'm not in support, but I didn't vote, don't worry. Now, it's not about females or ladies. It's not about bridging the gender divide. I'm not saying, no, tomorrow we should increase. No, it's not about. It's about leveraging on the positivism of the characteristics embedded and developed within the feminine practitioners in providing solutions. So what we want to do is we want to dissect our PAMSEC, because the president said, well, I think I've been an adult when the Ministry of Tourism was created, and it started with a man. And when the man left, a man came. One used 6 weeks, left. Another one used 6 months. And I can tell you, since we started the tourism ministry, if you look at the changes we have the commissioner in Lagos State, it's going to be ×2 than other ministries, because we're just changing them. Every year we bring in another commissioner. At a point, we brought in somebody who was in charge of plate numbers in Lagos. That is how to show you what it is. But the president said when the female came in, she introduced public sector. Abi? Now, that should be the second time. I was the moderator during EFTAN events, sometimes last year. And the chairman BOT of EFTAN said the same thing. And everybody in the hall agreed. Now, where we are going is we want to dissect the PAMSEC as a woman. Let's see some of the ideals she has to understand the feminism in her that we could not see in the other 7 male commissioners. To see what makes OVAT different from me. I'm chairman of IOH. Now, I want to take OVAT as the president of WIN. Let's see some of the things she has that I do not have. And we take those things and give it to me. And let's see if it's going to solve our problems. That is the philosophy I'm trying to build. Now, please, next slide. So, if we decide to look at, in our understanding this philosophy, sorry, please, can you go to the, go front? No, back, please, back. Okay, fine, please leave it there. Now, those are the things I want to talk to. Now, when we look at the female being in position, when we did our research, we identified the feminine hospitality has nothing less than 7 variables that makes it distinct from a male. Now, out of those 4, I'll be discussing 3 because we don't have the time. So, we'll be talking about the identity, inclusion, and also protection. Now, let's look at the identity. Like I said, I used Genesis 18, when Adam was a figure of hospitality. And that has reflected in everything we do in hospitality. The executive chef must be a male. When she's a female, what happens? Everybody wants to see her. You can see people, a female. Imagine having a female mechanic. She looks interesting, but nobody wants to give her the vehicle to repair. You can see. But the female hospitality, that feminine hospitality in them, was what was in Sarah. She was not interested to be the figure. She was interested in those angels getting satisfied. The Bible did not tell us who prepared the meal. Was it Abraham? No. Who brought the food, at least the water, from the back, from the stream? Was it Abraham? No. It was Sarah. But the feminine in hospitality does not bother who takes the credit, provided the job is done. And that is one of the issues we have in our professions. As of today, we have over 15 professional bodies regulating hospitality and tourism on who should be. My dear, look at all the presidents, they were male. Egoistic, identity has to be me. It is male, it is us. Now, I'm not criticizing us. I'm trying to let us understand. Then I'm still going to borrow those things. So number 1, identity. The feminine hospitality is not bothered who takes the credit, provided the tax is done. 1. 2, inclusion. Our mom will tell you, when you get married to them, they'll tell you, yes, it's me and my husband. Even though they want it to be me and my husband and my children. when the mother-in-law comes, they'll still have that part to welcome the mother-in-law. When the uncle-in-law comes, they'll still have that part to give from that soup to that mother-in-law, because everybody needs to be happy. That is peculiar with female. The male will tell you, I don't like you, I don't want your mother to come. He must not come. End of discussion. The king has spoken. That is horse. The third one is protection. Who protects more, the mom or the dad? All of you agreed. I thought it was my dad, though, because she put food on the table. But I'll tell you, something happened in my house. I think that should be about 4 or 5 years ago. The building got burnt. Courtesy electric, I think is the AC and they were all in the living room, and people outside were seeing the fire. They never knew. Suddenly they started seeing the smoke, and I was not at home. And when I came, my son told me, Daddy, Mommy is strong. I said, what happened? Do you know she was carrying all of us down? And she came back. And I said, what has she come to do? Now, he said, even she got burnt, she was not bothered. She was asking if we are good. And I said, now, when next, who do you think loves you between Daddy and Mommy? He said, 2 of you. But I said, you normally say it's Daddy, because when I'm broke, Mommy is broke. He said, it's the 2 of you. Now, yes, in the African setting, the man provides the home. But that doesn't mean we are protected. If we want to go deep down, the woman is a better protector between both parents. Even sometimes they put their own comfort to the background to ensure the system works. So putting those 3 principles, we have 7, but we're going to discuss 3 because of time. 1 is identity, 2nd is inclusion, and the 3rd one is protection. Now we're going to use those 3 and find solution to what we have and see whether it's going to work or not. Now please, the next slide. Next one, have discussed this. Yes. Now, before we go into it, now these are some of the things we came out to realize we have 7. And please, we need to look at the way the brain is. This is science. It's no longer me. Now, we look at science and we say we have artificial intelligence at the moment in computer. The basis of artificial intelligence is the man's brain, because it's based on information. Man's decision is about information. Yes, if A is B, B must be A. So you can't tell me it is wrong. Now, we are goal-oriented as man. We want profit. The guy that is working fine is our friend. The one that is not working, even if his husband is beating him, it's none of our problem. That is the man for you. But the female brain is how we come about emotional intelligence. Why? Why the man is interested in information, the woman is interested in connections. She brings everybody together. Even when it's not convenient for her. The man, what is convenient for me and my family first too. Every other one is secondary. Now, while the man is looking for immediate gain, result, the woman is looking for benefit over time. That's why they can tolerate women. Leave him, he will change, It's part of their brain. And why the man is looking for information, they are looking for connection. Why the man is direct, they tend to be indirect. It is already part of them. It is what makes them woman. It's not because of the sex. Their brain, according to the way it is, that's the way it's done. So based on this, we now understand feminism is not about your sex. It's all about what makes you. It's those characteristics. That's what we bring out. So please, the next one. So we decide to go into the business world. And we realize in corporate Nigeria, less than 25% of their board are occupied by women. That's corporate. When we look at the top 7 companies on the stock exchange. So this thing is not peculiar to hospitality. It's everywhere. Now, when we ask them questions, look at what some of them said. Now, meanwhile, if you go to Nigeria, we are at 24.6 as at last year. But we're better than Ghana. Ghana is presently on 23. While South Africa is on 29. And if we look at all of them, only Guaranteed Trust Bank, Access, and Lafarge had more than 30% of female on their board. And they are the top 7. So all of them women. So it is not peculiar to our industry, it's general. But we want to say, yes, can't we even learn something and let us change our own way and let others come and copy from us? Please, the next one. Now, when we ask those bankers, those manufacturers, in fact, in the those who produces in Nigeria, is zero female. They don't even have any female on their board. It's strictly male. Dunlop, Emzor, all of them, no female on their board. Now, when we ask them, why don't you have females on your board? Somebody said, because of our patriarchal system, opportunity at senior levels are slimmer than male. Probably this person also read Genesis 18 to know it's all about Abraham. Now, he said, women generally lacks the ruthless nature required to operate at senior level. No, men, we want results. We need to be ruthless. Somebody said most women are not able to network adequately because of their cultural restrictions. Yes, I'm married, I cannot do this. Now, someone said women are taught to be good wives and mothers and not encouraged to take up leadership roles. Imagine somebody on the board of a company saying that. And that is the reality. These are Nigerian directors. Please, the next slides. Now, we'll go back to that data before we round up. Now, we said initially, female, when we ask them, when it comes to hospitality business, assuming all variables are the same, they have the same qualification, the same experience, who will you prefer to lead? Male, 48, female. Now, let's try and see how this happens. Next slide. Now, when we look at it, out of the 48% that voted for male, only 2% were female. The remaining 98% are male. So male wanted to be us. Now, but out of the 52% that voted for female, 58% are male. Only 42 are females. So it shows that even though some people they believe it's still a male society, that means we're moving to an era that we are getting tired. That we are accepting defeat on our own within our inside. This one didn't show who is voting. So some of us are already accepting that, look, guys, calm down. You know you can't do it. You don't have this thing inbuilt. God has a way of doing it. You can see, imagine 58%. Now, I want to be sure that it's all about Nigeria. Please, next slide. Now, look at it. 64 of the males that voted are Nigerians. That voted male. Meanwhile, 23% are Nigerian that voted female. 13% from other countries voted male. None of them voted female. So it means all the female that got the votes, they were all Nigerians. So all the votes that came in, majority that voted for females are Nigerians. Even my CEO in Turkey prefer a male. So interesting. He prefers male. So you can see, when we look at it, 77% of those respondents are male, 23% are female. Yet, female got the largest number of votes. Now, this is supposed to be a place of strength for us, that we're moving into an era that people want to engage female more because of those things you have that they are now identifying that we males don't have. But that does not matter. We'll still be on the board and say, yes, women are meant to be in the house. No. Just like the one of the directors said to us. Next slide, please. So, is the feminine hospitality a new concept? No, it's not. It's a concept that has been. Except that it was one time a Beijing conference when people were trying to look at gender issue. But this session is not about gender issue. It's about understanding what is within and let us be objective to move forward. So, like now in Norway, it is a law. Every company must have at least 40% female on their board. In Kenya, 30%. But if you don't put the 30%, no fine. In California last year, California made a law. There must be at least a female on your board. If your company is in California, if not, you are going to be paying a fine of $10,000. And as at the time the law was made, over 58% of companies does not have a female on their board. And before the end of the year, nobody wants to lose $10,000. People just have to put a female. Now, when you look at the rationale behind it, it's very simple. Even at Norway, that they are saying 40%, it means if you have 60% intelligent people like myself, I think I'm intelligent anyway, and we want to fly, we want to go to the moon, and we have 40 people who are protections, and they say, look, guys, we know you want to go to the moon, but please remember that the tire may be missing, then we'll remember to carry extra tire. You see, it's essence of we don't have to think one way. So we have somebody to tell us other parts which we will not see, that we can take the information and get prepared when the eventualities actually happen. So we are not even saying, yes, there are minorities, let them be there. But whatever they tell with the 60%, we'll pick it, we take note. Well, you said you'll be 2 weeks. What of if there is go slow and you spend 1 month? Okay, madam, add more Gary to the Gary I want to take to the moon. That is the essence. That is advanced economy. If Norway can do it, I think not much of Africa is doing it. And that's why when Rwanda decided to have 50 women on the cabinet, the whole world was shouting, wow, this is wonderful. Because it's something that does not happen in a patriotic system like ours. Next one. So I'm going to tell you my personal experience. All I've said is what others have done. Then I'm going to use my hotel as an example. I was formerly with Swiss International. I was the MD West Africa between 2012 and 2017, where we were able to move into Africa, and we had we have 8 properties, yes, in 5 African countries. 2017, I left to join Continent Hotel, based in Turkey, and up to today, I'm the CEO for Africa. I sit on the board. We just opened our first hotel in Africa, Continent Hotel Akure. Like I said, it's doing wonderfully well. And because I'm an academic, I decided to use the same idea because I want to, so that when I publish this, I can have data. So if you want to challenge me, you to go and have your data for 5 years and let's talk. We opened February, then I started my research March. Between March and October, I've gotten 2 sets of GMs, a male and a female. When we open hotel newly, I normally tell my clients, please, if I'm going to need 60 staffs, I want to employ 66 because I'm likely to fire 20% within the first 3 months. The reason that they want to test my will is a small boy, can't do anything. So by the time I fire 1, 2, 3, they say, he's a mad boy. You need to listen to him. So that's part of my strategy. Now, I realize we fired some people resigned. And between then and now, we fired about 5. Yesterday, I just approved the 5th one, who happens to be the executive chef. And all the 5 are males, no female. The only female that is no longer in the system resigned on personal ground. That's personal experience. Now, when I changed the leadership, after like 4 months, I changed the leadership. Now I have all top executive females, GM, F&B, room division, accountant, auditor, all females, married and single. Now, I'm not putting myself in the shoe. What has been my experience all about? Now, I realized when the men are in charge, I have to be smarter. They will, girls in B now. And imagine within the first 3 months of opening, my GM approved a discount, total discount of over 6 million. That's facts. 6 million. So anybody comes, I must give discount. I'm new, for God's sake. And I'm not there because at a point, I don't know, my friend, no person give discount without my consent. Even if I'm sleeping, no, don't give. I stopped. Now, when I'm trying to explain to the male-dominated system, I need to start talking in objectivity. You know, we need to do 30%. I become affirmative. As if you don't do it, sometimes I put a threat into it so that they'll know I'm also a man. Now, the female came in like, I think she resumed. I changed the entire system in about 8-9 weeks, going to 2 months now. And I sleep more. Now, I'll tell you what I do now. Before, it was affirmative, you have to do this, objectivity. Now, to get things done, I talk emotionally. Madam GM, you know the business is coming down. If you are the owner, how do you think you will feel? And I'm getting results. Now I sleep, unlike before, you can bomb me well. As I'm not there, I'm sending somebody to go and check 1 or 2 things. Even if the GM tells me something, I'll need to look for another information to be sure he's telling me the correct thing. Because that is my personal experience when it comes to business. So there are still some other variables I couldn't discuss because of time. Now, when it comes to inter-government relation, it plays. I want to follow my FTAM president. I want to use his analogy. Since this is Lagos, let's use Lagos as example. I'm sure the PAMSEC came in less than 2 years. Less than a year. I think she was the one that did the last Lagos Fiesta. No, she came in after the Lagos Fiesta. Now, less than a year. And people can say so much. What happened to the last 7? 1, why was the German the chancellor very popular? She's a female even when the world was tough with Trump. And she made her way. She got away with so many things. Because, I'll tell you what, when you have a male-dominated system, ego is involved. Now, the female, because they are not interested in who leads, they take a step backward and try to manipulate our emotion and get the results. That is just it. And I can tell you, even when I'm hungry, and I can tell you the PAMSEC is getting away with so many, at least, plus so many things, because she can just go and say, okay, Excellency, sir, and when you want to teach the and she'll get away because she knows when the Excellency can smile, well, it can read. Women, Oga said I should be at 6 o'clock. Won't the man sleep and you are there 6 o'clock? The woman will say, Oga said I should come 6 o'clock. Madam, we'll talk about it. You know why? Because it's the emotion. You cannot understand. So when you see women lead, now let me tell you, 2 days ago, I was fortunate to be in a meeting with my FTAM president. And Nigeria has people who are in Ghana discussing deals with other African countries. The person that spoke with us is a female. They didn't put man to go and lead. Because we understand, we are only interested in result. Whether the thing will last long, concern us. But the woman wants to weigh in so many options. Now, don't understand, I'm not saying women are better. I'm just looking at those things in them that is making them to be better. Now, women, let us see how we can use those things that make them to look better and see whether we'll be better off. Please, next slide. That's where we are going. Because they will call my wife now that your husband said you are the leader now. Please. So, we'll start with government. It's so easy. We can use the feminine hospitality to develop policies of appointments. We are not saying, sometimes you need to change the status quo to get things done. If you want a different result, try something different. If you don't 3 males at a stretch, try a female. Even if the 3 male, you say, women, we are so funny. If my guy is the first position and he's doing 50%, when I'm doing 51, I am satisfied. I'm better than Oga. But woman will come and say, look, Oga, I'm doing 48%, but my staff are staying longer. She has other reasons than one reason. But women will stick to one. So sometimes you may want to change. So they need to have that policy. It shouldn't be male and female. You can do 3 male, 1 female. She changes the bar. Then the men can start again, maintaining the bar. Bring and well, they are tired. Change the bar again. It's possible. Also, we need to integrate gender diversity into succession planning. Now, reason being that even as men, there are some of these traits, even if you bring the traits, put it in tablets, some of us will not use it. It is normal. How will you say I should come and be I must be the leader. Why is I should step back? So even if you put those traits in tablets, we won't use it. So what can government do? Let them have a succession plan. When a male is the chairman, make the female the vice. Not chairman vice as entrenched in our constitution, no. Executive vice, so that they have at least same voice. And we should also ensure we include the issue of identity, inclusion, and protection. Now, the protection is where the government has defaulted in ensuring we survive. Let's talk about government a bit. We want to leverage, so we're talking of government. The constitution, I said, tourism issue is with the state. It's on the concurrent list. And even the constitution does not even make mention of tourism. It only made mention of it once on another list for local government to be collecting money. Nothing again. So we're on our own. Now, Lagos is doing master plan with whose money? Taxpayers' money. From where? Lagos. Meanwhile, Lagos cannot put a gate at the toll gate for people in Cross River that has enjoyed themselves not to enter Lagos. So what is Lagos doing to protect? Because if Lagos refuses to protect us, a wise Igbo man will leave Anambra without voting today and come to Lagos on Monday and make money and take it back to Anambra. What are you doing to protect hospitality businesses in Lagos that are paying the tax that you are using to bring out all these lofty ideas? That is what the woman mentality thinks. It protects the family. So what is government doing to protect us? Now, I'm in Ondo State. I must give it to the governor of Ondo State. He's really doing fine. And it's really nice. The tax people are not coming as the way it is in Lagos. But they keep writing us letter. You are owing, no, you are owing, no, please pay. And we have a way of saying, just hold on, we'll pay, which is not available in Lagos. After 2 times, we'll go to court. Now, but you see, what we're saying is, Ondo protects its market. It's not something I can see on here. Lagos should protect its own market as well. Because there is free movement of people in and out of Lagos. And if government does not protect me that I have office in Lagos, then I can as well go and put my office where nobody is paying consumption tax, 5%, and I'll be making more money than those who are in Lagos. So if somebody is paying, and that will also encourage us to pay that percent, what are we doing? Part of the protection is saying, okay, you guys are hoteliers, you are paying consumption tax, blah, blah, blah. One of the things I'm going to do because of COVID, if you don't sack your staff, if you have proof that you are not laying off your staff, then instead of paying the 5%, we'll give you a rebate. Reason being that you have the data of people who are paying payee to you. We have the list. So if a company informally declare 20 staff paying payee and he has 50, he cannot come and say he has 50 now. So for the past 3 years, you've been paying 20, so you cannot benefit. That will also ensure we business people, we declare our intention to government. We declare the result the way it is. But because there is a disconnect, we don't trust government, government don't trust us. And the idea of them saying they will put a computer in Alausa who will be leaking to my property, I won't do computer except, in fact, we will stop computerization. Maybe you come and buy computer for us. The facts remain, we need to see you protect us so that we are better off paying the 5% than the man who has hotel in Ogun State. And one of the protections is this. All government policy, all government events should be in companies, hotels in Lagos that are paying the consumption tax. Yes. I have done transactions, didn't ask for my tax, so this is, you see, if you say tax, I'm going to give you last year tax. If I want to do business with you in March, I want to see proof of you paying the consumption tax in February. If that transaction did not materialize in March and I'm paying you check in May, I must see proof you are paid for April. Those ways, companies will see government as partner in progress. But when I know I'm paying, and my guy has uncle in Alausa, which is something that is allowed anyway, because I don't know how they work, the number of votes they put for the governor before he became governor. Me, it's only one vote, I don't know. So everybody, so if he does not pay and is getting the contract, how do you think I'm going to feel? So one thing is government need to be sincere and protect the taxpayers. If you protect us, come sincerely, I can tell you, you protect us, we know no other state will come to Lagos and come and compete with us. One of those issues, we are having events now. Where are the materials coming from? Are they produced in Lagos? No, most of the materials will come from Aba. Abi? So we are throwing some money. So you see, government need to do in such a way that tourism is so wide. When you think you are protecting one, you are creating avenue for other businesses to grow. So protection is, the constitution does not stop a governor from protecting the industry in his state. It only says you cannot stop individuals from walking around. Companies are not individuals. So we need to do that. And those are some of the things that are embedded in women that we can borrow and make things work. And the second one on the identity. I know my PAMSEC is here. And these are things we are going to discuss. We are in dilemma. The Supreme Court has said NTDC is a toothless bulldog, except it's in Abuja. Even though they don't agree, we are telling them you can. Because they came to Ondo, I said, look, if you lock my gate, I'm going to deal with all of you. Go and bring your law. But at the same time, I can tell you the states are not better off as it is. When there is no legal solution to issues, let's behave like the feminine gender. Let's go political and economic. You know now when your husband is saying, I won't do it, you know how to get this thing done. All we need to do, let's call NTDC. Let all the states come together. Don't worry, we know we have control over this thing. Now, but NTDC, because it's with federal government, it has control over the people that comes from outside Nigeria. Now, okay, NTDC, you know what? We need more money in the state, Abi. You are not collecting my 5% consumption tax. That one no concern you. Now, can we come together and form a national tourism board, council, where all the state commissioners will be members and the DG of the NTDC? Now, you see, we are killing our identity. We now say one of the things then is these people that are coming abroad, if you travel to Turkey, you pay tourism tax. In UK, it's about 21%. If you are in some Caribbean countries, you are going to be paying like $15 per tourist. But the state cannot collect that, even though we have all these airports. Now, okay, this fund, we can use it to promote tourism in Nigeria generally. But we want you to house this for us. And based on how the money comes, you share to the states and we develop. It's all about using the feminine identity of we don't want to lead. You lead, provided we achieve results. That will not stop our presence. And that will also help us to have a national grading system for all the hotels. You need to see what a 5-star hotel is in Sokoto. It's not even up to a 3-star hotel there. Next one, please. Now, to the employer, it's very important we need to support our staffs. Education gives knowledge, but industry is the skills that gives you money. Now, like I said, artificial intelligence, computer, if you go back to your computer, it tells you this is the site you have visited, the product you want to buy. It's no longer selling. That's why companies are encouraging people to do emotional intelligence. That one, we are stealing it from the female folk. All the men now, they've started going for emotional intelligence courses so that they can, at least for them to keep their job. It shows you have something. You have the emotional in you and intelligence, but we are going for the classrooms. So companies need to make it a conscious effort, even in organization. This is a feminine agenda, but it helps because that is how you can build a family. When some organizations say, no, this company will build a family, they are not bounded by blood. It's emotions that bind them. So when somebody is late, you look beyond the lateness. You ask, why are you late? Before you punish. And that's even why our constitution, our law, is also emotionally intelligent. For example, chapter 10 says you cannot be charged for an offense without you making an action, and they can prove your intention of doing that action. So the fact that you saw me killing somebody does not mean the judge will find me guilty. You have to prove the reason why I killed, and it is not for me to tell you why I killed. You should be the one to prove. So if you don't prove the two, I'm not going to jail. That is what the law says. So if the law has emotion, who are we not to put emotion into what we do? Please, the next one. Now, to win and other relevant bodies, this is key. Please, we give award every year. We associate with company. We should ensure, make it your own policy. If government does not say 40% female, put it there. Any company we will do business with, we want to be sure you have so number of female on your board. That is your own idea. It is very key that we do that. And other bodies should encourage it. Because government may want to say, no, we don't want to go to that because those who are there are male. But companies, bodies, we can do that to ensure our businesses are better off. Now, to we individual, it is very important that we get prepared. You don't wait until your organization give you those skills. I've just told you 3. So if you are a male, you are too egoistic. Learn to step down. If you are too good with AI, which is computer-based, go for emotional intelligence. And learn to take other people's opinion into what you have. It makes you a better person. And these are things we pick from the female. And you that you have it as female, it's very important that you also make sure you put this into practice. Next slide, please. So, hello Nigerians, we can no longer ignore the fact that we have crisis in our economy. We currently have one of the highest deposits of people living in poverty around the world. Helping them will mean getting out of this economic mess. We got a huge opportunity right now as we rebuild and bounce back from the pandemic. While thinking out of the box as usual, as unusual circumstances requires an unusual approach, and at least leveraging on the dynamism of feminine hospitality. So here is my wide idea. Don't choose extinction or condemnation to the home front. That's for we females. It's time for us to stop making excuses and start making changes. Now, before you know whether it benefits you, there are some indices you need to know. Presently, Visa has released a data that says 50% of the workforce in Nigeria are females. But can we get that also done in hospitality? That is a challenge. I know we will all be better off. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I put it off.
So much. Thank you so much, Dr. Babalola. So in case any of the females here are looking for a senior role in hospitality in his hotel, please don't forget to contact him. So we'll move on swiftly to the first panel discussion of the day. I'll invite our moderator for the first panel discussion, Funke Olushoga Ogunlade. Funke is a hospitality and customer experience consultant with over a decade of hands-on experience and has graced her way through the ranks with excellence. She's an expert in training employees on customer service and helping businesses and entrepreneurs learn how to structure customer experience. Funke is also a member of Women in Hospitality Nigeria. So over to you, Funke.
Thank you, sir. I need to make a pause because I think
So sorry, before our panel discussion, we'll start with a presentation from Lagos State. Please, can you play the documentary?
Searching for new memories? Come to Lagos. A place where you can see things and really feel them. A place to play in the sand and in the calm waves of Landmark Beach. Pay a visit to the colorful, electrifying Balogo Market, bustling with hard work, diversity, and culture. Get in touch with the yesterday that has made Lagos what it is today at the National Museum of Arts. Go deeper into the culture, the people, the energy, and the talent that makes Lagos what it really is. Let it draw you in and make you one with it. Hungry? Feed your heart, your curiosity, and your mouth with the best dishes in the world, made with hearts filled with traditional values and experience. enjoy the best of entertainment in an array of movie theaters and really feel its magic. Now, end each day with the regal kind of comfort in the soft cushions of real hotel luxury. Come to Lagos. Come make memories.
We can do better than that for Lagos. Come on. I mean, who was proud to see how beautiful Lagos was in that presentation? I know I was. I'm a Lagosian, thoroughly born, bred. Everything about me is Lagos, so it was nice to see that. So we'll bring forward now Princess Adenike Adedoyin Ajayi, the Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, to present her paper. Welcome, ma.
Thank you very much. I'd like to adopt all the established protocols while I still recognize the president in the House, my brother, the one who gave me a very good experience when I was at Uyo. They made me feel very welcome. So it's good afternoon to everyone once again. Now, I was telling my colleague, my director, Mrs. Oni, that it appears that our professor has had a little snoop into the things that I wanted to talk about, today. One of the things that when I saw this, the topic for discussion, one of the things that I said to myself is that I'm not surprised that women, are coming together to create this niche for themselves. Because there's something about hospitality that resonates with women. It's innate. We are kind of born, we're wired to look after people. We're wired to look after things. We're wired to just ensure that things are working, even when we're not consciously doing so. And so for me, here, what the professor said has even taken it a notch higher to say that going forward, we should start looking at hospitality in itself as a feminine gender. You'll be surprised that when you start looking from the lens that hospitality, the space of hospitality, is a woman, it will bring out some more ideas for us. And if the men in the hospitality space are also looking at that space, that hospitality is a woman, there are certain things that men know they need to do for women that they'll start applying to that hospitality space. Start looking at that space as a woman, start treating it as a woman, start doing things with it as a woman, start strategizing, for all of the things that they want to do through the lens that hospitality is a woman. So that's not part of my original speech, but because of the things, that have been spoken, I just thought I'll start with that because it was still very much on my mind. So to what I have sort of sat down to prepare, I'll go through that quickly. I know that time is well spent and I have to be somewhere else too. My sincere apologies for obstructing the order of ceremony that's already been prepared. So I'll just start by saying I'm very honored and very pleased to be a part of this gathering and to also lend my own voice to the discussions that would further advance the tourism sector, especially as it concerns women practitioners in this tourism and hospitality industry. Let me again commend the concept of women in hospitality Nigeria, which is pronounced WIN. Am I correct? WIN. WIN. That's interesting. Women win. So I must commend you for carving a niche for the women folk within the tourism and hospitality space since the establishment of this group a few years back. I have been reliably informed of some of the giant strides made by this group since its establishment. And as a matter of fact, the tourism and hospitality sector is such a broad field that gives room for all players to contribute their quota to the advancement of the industry. My fair ladies and some of the gentlemen amongst us, this chosen topic for discussion for today and for this year's edition of this gathering, leveraging local experience for hospitality and tourism growth in Nigeria, is quite appropriate in view of the prevailing COVID-19 that has brought a lot of calamities in its wake across the globe and its attendant effect on the tourism and hospitality sector in particular. That's one sector that, for us, is the most hit by the pandemic because it was a total shutdown for the businesses that were in that space. The impacts of COVID on the travel and tourism industry showed the urgent need to fix our domestic tourism for us to start looking inwards. And the best way to do that now depends on collaborative efforts of all stakeholders in the industry. I was always telling my colleagues, and my principal, the commissioner, that yes, I am new, as permanent secretary, but I have been in the space of transformation and reforms. That's what I've been doing before I got appointed as permanent secretary. So my own mind is also wired towards, reforming, transforming, and bringing things, looking at things in innovative and creative ways. And so for us, we felt that the best way for us to get anything done and to do it well is to be a part of it. And how can we become a part of it? It's when we collaborate with all of those that own that space. We don't own the space, we're only regulators. That's really what we are as a government. We don't own the space, but we've been told to regulate that space. And we can only regulate what we understand. We can only regulate what we are a part of. And so we're not making decisions that is not going to be palatable to those that are in the space. The professor was talking about, some of the things that we need to do as a government in terms of making it more user-friendly, engaging all the people that have hospitality spaces and hotels and all of that when we are having any government functions. Already that's what we do. Even before I became PAMSEC, from the ministry that I was, the office that I occupied before, if we wanted to have anything to do, they would tell us, it's part of it in Lagos State, that you cannot use any establishment that's not registered for any activity that's government sponsored. So that's our own way of saying, for you registering with us, the least we can do is also to engage you, to use your services. And so for that, we're doing it. And I know that there's also discussions going around all the multiple taxation, all of this, bringing computers into your system and all that. We're not doing that. I think somewhere along the line, the narrative of the discussion, is being distorted. We're not going to do that. Nowhere in the world does that. Everyone has, their peculiar ways of ensuring. All we need is your, audit records, audited accounts and audited records that will give us the information that we want. So please don't be scared that we're coming in and start, snooping into all of your affairs. We're also trying to ensure that we regulate. We also do what we call when we categorize, we're trying to categorize all of our, all of the hotels, and we're going to categorize, and so that we can then position them properly. And all of those ones that have been categorized and well positioned will be on our website. We're also trying to create that confidence in all the people that intend to use this hospitality spaces, the accommodations and what have you. We're trying to ensure that them seeing your establishment on the Lagos State website will give them some comfort to say, oh, These people are registered. These people are on the Lagos State website. Okay, there must be some, level of security and comfort and, confidence that will go with us, using those establishments. And so those are some of the things that, we're already putting in place. The website is already there. You can log on to our website and you'll see it. We've also have our master plan. I know some people here came when we did our public presentation of the master plan. And I was just telling the president now that the master plan is not just one of those ones that you just put a master plan in place. It has a policy thrust document that was passed by the House of Assembly. So if any other person comes, that master plan is going to run from year 2020 till year 2038. Right. And it has 6 pillars that is driving all of the identified sectors in the tourism, creative arts, and tourism space. It has all of them. And we didn't do it alone. EFTON was part of it for us. That's to show you that we are committed to working with our stakeholders. They were part of it. They had their inputs. They looked at it for us, the staff, and then the consultants, including all the, technical departments within the ministry. And so for us, we are saying this is how we're going to walk the walk. We've started it. And if, for example, we leave, I leave, the commissioner leaves, you are still going to own that space. Anyone that comes, challenge them if they're trying to change it. Let them know there's an established law that's guiding how this thing needs to be done. One of the things that we don't do often is to challenge government. We have a right to challenge government. We have a right to sue government. Just know I am telling you, that's one of the things that I was doing. And I'm saying this so that you also know your own responsibility as part of our stakeholders. You can sue us if we're not doing things right. And then you can challenge us if you feel that, we have deviated from some things that we promised. That's why we've made that master plan a public document. It's there. Everyone can see it. We're not hiding it. It's on the website. You can go back and read it if we're not too lazy. Just read it and see what applies to your space, and then hold on to that and quote it back every time that you are having any discussion or conversation with government. So that's going to be one of my charges, for us as our stakeholders. There's so much going on in the hospitality industry now, which tourism is a major key player, as well as the various value chains in the space. Let's take, for example, event vendors, event center owners, catering services, ushering services, photographers, videographers. Look at them, the technical people. All of this, layers that come together into this space that you have. When we put all of these components together, we have a catalog of products that can be created and turned into revenue-generating products. We look at the wedding industry, and we can see how this product alone can generate a ripple effect across the value chain. At an event, a single wedding event, a wedding planner will be engaged. And the job of that wedding planner is to create an experience for the couple getting married. And it does not stop at just providing that wedding hall and catering services. By simply partnering with some other domestic tour operators, some wedding planners will say, we're taking you for a destination honeymoon, and they give them a package. It can be local package. Some will say that, some of these destinations can include local flights. We're beginning to partner with the airlines. Some of them will say, we're going to give you souvenirs. We're going to help you to get souvenirs for your guests. We're already, partnering with another part of the sector, the printing, the graphic artists. And so you can just imagine the scope and the spectrum that this hospitality industry and the tourism industry attracts and it covers. And I always say to people, tourism is life. It encompasses the whole of our existence. It's something that we do consciously and unconsciously. I have left my house to come here. I have seen a lot of things on my way. If I put myself in the mode of a tourist, there'll be certain things that I'll be seeing that, you know, I'll be looking at them and say, as these things in Lagos. You know, I was looking at this area. For those who know this area, this was used to be Jesu Oyinbo. And it was a totally different case when we were growing up. There used to be a helipad just right there. There used to be, in fact, this space, for those that grew up in Lagos a long time ago, there used to be a club. There used to be a club that we used to come to. And look at how it has evolved. Look at the things that are there now. They're building probably flats or something that I think they're building over there. And so for a tourist is all about history. Tourism is about history, someone telling you. So if we bring people here, and peradventure, we have made conscious effort to take the pictures or memories of this place before what it is now, we can get a tour guide that will start talking to them. I grew up knowing that petrol station there. I grew up knowing it. That petrol station is no longer there. Did anyone in the tourism industry even took note of it to say, let's take pictures, just in case we want to have some background knowledge for people that are coming, you know, after this. And those are all of those things. So I'm here, I'm reminiscing. I'm saying, wow, this Onigbongbo, Maryland has really changed. I used to work in Samshonubare, and we used to just walk across into Onigbongbo. Now it has a gate. You can't walk across. Now it has buildings, big ones. Now it has, the petrol station is gone. So there is, so every day that we're living, it is what you decide to see that will determine whether you are walking around as a tourist or you're just walking around as a normal person. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, there is so much going on. I'm missing my thought. Okay, now, let me get back to where I was. A lot of professional things go around when we do whatever it is that we do. And I would like to also say, above all, the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, since the outbreak of COVID-19, we have redirected all of our programs, plans, and policies towards the development of our local tourism sites, because we are very, very particular up to domestic tourism. Let's put it this way. COVID-19 has reset our brains to start looking inwards, to start saying there are certain things that we need to do. And so we have started with our community-based tourism program. So as I speak, we have trained, so like I said, the COVID has redirected our programs, plans, and policies, and the development of our local tourism sites. We took advantage of the initial ban placed on international traveling to focus our attention on attracting local tourists to our various tourism sites. And as I speak now, we have trained youths from all across board of our local governments in the areas of tour guides. These beneficiaries were chosen within their local communities to serve as tour guides to visitors, with the belief that their local knowledge will assist them perform efficiently as tour guides in the areas we are beginning to develop our community-based tourism. We're also letting them know that there are benefits. Number one, you know, the IGR, the economy. Number two, all your arts and crafts, you don't have to take them anywhere. The tourists will come. You just do them, and they will come there. And, you know, we're also training their mind to say that they need to also be more friendly to tourists and not think about extorting them, because those are some of the things that will not make the tourists come there. I also recently, just about a couple of weeks ago, the ministry trained some taxi drivers, Uber drivers, Taxify operators, and all of them on effective and efficient visitors management. And as part of the training, the tourism officers at the grassroots were also empowered on the implementation of community-based tourism in their different local government areas within the state. And our overall intention as a government for this is premised on the fact that these trainees, who are majorly first point of contact for visitors, will exhibit appropriate courtesies that will create a positive impression about Lagos for our tourists. It will also interest you that we are determined, we have made up our mind that whatever it is that you're doing in all of this space, either the tourism or the hospitality, whatever space you are, we are going to be your partners in progress. And so, in conclusion, leveraging and collaborating with key players in the hospitality industry can become a money spinner for every stakeholder. And I want to urge and encourage more collaboration among women in the hospitality industry so that the industry can continue to witness tremendous growth. I want to thank you all for your attention and the privilege to have this space. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Ma. We just need you for 1 second. We would like to present you a gift. So Justina, please come forward for the presentation. So on the stage, please. Can we have the gift, please? So in the meantime, at least we know who to go and meet for Lagos State to push things forward.
We are very open. I'm sure you will have noticed that. I'm sure a lot of people would have noticed that. For a few months now, we've been very, very welcoming to ideas and to collaborate with everybody in this tourism space.
I want to thank you most sincerely for the wonderful presentation. Okay. And for someone who used to begin my introduction by telling everybody that I'm from the most beautiful city in Nigeria, Calabar. These days, I don't know about that, but Lagos State is doing very much, quite a lot for tourism. And I'm still proud about Calabar anyway, but one day, yes, one day we'll take back our position, and I'm so happy that we have people like you to learn from. For all the things you're doing in the ministry. 3 powerful women, very powerful women. And for someone who has been a former senior special assistant to the governor of my state, I'm so proud to acknowledge that government is walking the talk. It's usually a thing of government saying one thing and doing the other thing. But here in Lagos State, they've been able to package, all the product, and they are setting it up and putting it out there to the world. There's virtually nothing you can find in Lagos State when it has to do with tourism. And please, let's give them another round of applause. So, on behalf of all right, so please, I want to invite all members of the Lagos State Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, and every other person in the Lagos State. But if I make it that way, everybody will come out. Everybody is from Lagos State. Yeah? So, yeah. Okay, all right, great. Okay. So, yes, thank you. You see, that's why he's the president of FTN. On behalf of the women in hospitality in Nigeria, we want to most sincerely thank you for finding time to come stay with us today and for sharing your experience with us and all the achievements that Lagos has been recording in recent times. You've set the pace. We are left with no choice than to try and catch up follow the steps of Lagos State. And we also want to be with you that when we come calling for advice, for partnerships, whatever it is, you always have your doors open to us. We promise you that we will not bug you. We only come for very important things, yeah? Okay. So this is just a very nice collection of nice things. Thank you, man.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much, ma'am. And we would also like to extend the hand of fellowship from Lagos State. These are all our souvenirs, things that you can refer to, things that can be related to.
That's right. Okay, ESCO of the Wayne, don't join them. ESCO, don't join them. ESCO of Wayne, don't join Lagos State. Let me show my hand. Ask her my hand. See my hand, so.
So let me just let everyone know the Greater Lagos Fiesta starts from the 1st of December till the 1st of January 2022. Watch the space, be a part of it, come and enjoy. This is Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much, everyone. So we know that we've kept you sitting for a while. So we'll quickly move on to having our coffee break. So please let's get up, move around, have a coffee break, and we'll go back with our panels. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been amazing so far. Thank you, sir, Afghan President. Thank you so much for honoring us today. We've had a good time so far. And now it's time for the panel discussion. I'd like to call on our panelists. The first person being Ms. Clara Chinwe Okoro, who is a driven individual, a usual attribute of an entrepreneur, and a multiple awards winner in different categories and nominations in her sphere of work. Clara left an opportunity to work with the American Oil Company, now Chevron, after graduating to pursue her vision of turning creative intelligence into a powerhouse of economic advancement with tools at her disposal, so she could become a media innovator. So please, let's welcome Clara with a round of applause. Our second panelist for today is Mr. Michael Balogun. He's the founder and CEO of Extreme Tours to Nigeria Limited, popularly known as Tour to Nigeria. Inducted into the Tourism 100 Club of Nigeria, Michael was named amongst the top 100 tourism personalities in Nigeria in 2019. Let's welcome him again with a round of applause. And the second woman on the panel is our lovely Nena Fakoya Smith. I'm going to look for something to just say, because everybody knows Nena. Nena has been recognized as one of the Young Tourism Personalities of the Year and Best Tourism Innovation through Technology for hosting the first ever Tourism Virtual Summit. Welcome, Nena. It's such an honor to have you three on this panel today. It's really exciting. The topic, I've been thinking about the topic since, and I was, just like Lola was asking, honestly, how many of us will say we have gone out of our way, to experience tourism in Nigeria? Because, when you're thinking about holidays, your first thought is, I'm going to get visa, I'm flying out, and I wonder, because Nigeria is such an amazing and beautiful place, I'm very guilty, and I'll just be honest, I'm changing, and I hope we all, start to experience what we have around us. I'm going to ask straight questions, and then we'll open it to the floor. The first question I'd like to ask, and I'll ask everyone to, just give very brief answers. What, in your opinion, is the direct impact of COVID on local tourism? What, in your opinion? So let's ask Nena first, and then go. So go this way. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay, so for me, I think the direct impact that COVID has done is that it has made us think inward. It has made us appreciate what we have and to at least use what we have. Normally because, whoops, okay, thank you guys, come on. All right, so I was saying that one thing that COVID has done, it has made us realize what we have and to utilize what we have. Before we were like, okay, if I want to travel, I have to go to Dubai, or I have to go to the UK or US. Now we're forced to think inside because one, COVID cost alone, just to do the test, is crazy. I went to Ghana, just Ghana, and I spent 200K to just do COVID tests. Normally that 200K, I used to do hotel visits, places. I couldn't even visit because money was not enough. So that alone made me think, okay, what can I do? Where can I go within Nigeria? I have people come in, I want to go to holiday, I want to rest. Where can I go? And because we're building our tourist sites, our places, people are beginning to say, okay, there are places I can visit within our place. So for me, I think it made us think inward and to at least utilize what we have in our own country.
Thank you. But that's interesting because you're seeing it as a positive. Are you saying that there was no negative impact of COVID on tourism?
No, there was. We all know what a negative is. We couldn't move around. We couldn't do what to do, right? Normal. But sometimes you have to be disrupted for you to look at what you have within. So even though COVID did a lot, I lost someone. I've lost like 2 people with COVID. So it had its bad side, but you have to look inward and see what has it done good for us. And for me, I am in shock. I keep screaming about domestic tourism. I've been screaming domestic for 5 years. Michael knows that. So for me, COVID made us think, okay, we have something inside. Since we can't go out, make we use the one we get now. You get exactly. So for me, that's why I see it.
Thank you very much, Nena. Okay, can we ask the other lady on the panel as well before we go to the gentleman? I hope that's fair. And it's a women's event. All right, okay, Clara, what do you think is the direct impact? Nena has said a lot, but also in your, is there anything you'd like to add?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, once again. I believe it was actually an opportunity to reset the world globally. And there are always two fallouts, the positive and the negative. And while we are still here, because quite a lot of people died in the process, it's up to us to know how to transform it into a positive for the world generally. So what I picked out, two strong things from it, was the fact that it gave me the opportunity to understand that technology is the new future. We have to now understand the shift has happened. You're not going back. Now people do remote work. You have what you call the digital nomads, people who can sit in a corner of the world, work, get paid, pay taxes to the country where they're using technology to work. And then secondly, it's now opportunity for countries to realize that tourism, they saw the impact. A lot was lost in economies. The volume of people you have coming into your country daily at the airport tells you that tourism is not just coming into a hotel, sitting down and, strolling. Travel, it's a broad spectrum what happens in tourism, but a lot of governments still don't understand it. The limited meaning of tourism to them is someone takes off, goes to a country to sit down. No, there's a whole lot of value chain involved. And I think that's where policy comes in now, because that's what we're talking about before we came in. Governments have to be intentional about putting policies in place, and that's only the time businesses can truly benefit from this sector.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Clara. Okay, so let's go to the gentleman amongst us. All right, so what do you think is the direct impact of COVID on tourism, local tourism?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And still on the protocols here, I would like to say thank you for having me here. Thank you for having our PS, Mrs. Oni here, and the FTA president. And I'm using this opportunity to say this for the first time because it's a women hospitality program. I got into tourism when I moved back to Nigeria in 2008. And the only reason I am sitting here as a tour operator is because of this beautiful woman, Mrs. Ime Woodor, our vice president. I started writing about Nigeria on TripAdvisor and on LinkedIn, and she saw some of my work and said, "Are you based in Nigeria?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "It would be nice for you to join." And so I owe a lot of what I am today to that woman over there. And because it is a woman's program, I would like to say 80% of all my own partners in the industry are even women. 80%. So it shows the power of women in this sector. And as regard the COVID issue, I would say for me it was more of a blessing in disguise, because I've been promoting tourism locally for the last 10 years. I don't do Ghana, I don't do Dubai, I only sell Nigeria. So when the COVID came, it was more for me to go to church for a Thanksgiving. So it is now time for people to see why they need to stay in Nigeria instead of traveling abroad. I have done a lot of pitches, I have done a lot of business competition from the Tony Lumelu, name it, on this same domestic tourism. And for Nigerians now to understand the push for domestic tourism says a lot. So I think COVID came at a better time for Nigerians to understand. How many people here know Lakowe? See? And we all live in Lagos, Rufus and Bees, landmarks. But if I tell somebody about Disney or Dubai now, so I think, charity, they say, begins at home. Yeah. So for me, the flip side of the COVID was I lost a friend. I had COVID. I almost died. A lot of people didn't know. Some people did understand what I went through that time. So for me, COVID has changed the narrative. And we will never have this opportunity again once it's lost. So this is the time. Every stakeholder, everybody passionate about Nigeria needs to come into this game. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that response. I'm going to ask you another question just around that. So you've been doing this over the years, right? And it's obvious that you've been pushing at it, And I'd just like to ask you, what are the major challenges that you've had in promoting tourism in Nigeria? I know that there are some that are like security, this one and that one, but apart from the obvious ones, are there any ones, and how have you been able to navigate through that?
Well, I wouldn't really say security is the biggest issue, because
really, that's interesting.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, if I'm going to have to, what I think about is how safe is the storyline.
It's the narrative.
Wow.
I've been on the road for the last 2 weeks. I've been in Ibadan. Yesterday, I got back from Osun State around 8:30. what I'm going to say is until we start telling the real stories, the positive stories, this is what people are going to hear.
Yeah.
The first 6 months of this year, you need to check the data with CNN. They had over 100 and something deaths as per gun crime. They've had issues of theft in South Africa, in Kenya, but you don't see them bringing these issues out on their own platforms. That is why the need for DMOs, destination marketing organization and brand marketing, need to come out to say more positive stuff. If we keep telling people, oh, Nigeria is not safe, go to the airports. There are people coming in every day. We still had Americans here last week. We still have a group of Caribbeans coming in. As of Monday, we have people coming from Dubai. So why do we always keep saying there's the security issues? I really think the greatest problem we have in Nigeria is patriotism. It's patriotism. If every family that has somebody coming for Christmas in Lagos this December can say, okay, I am taking my cousins coming from the village to Landmark, to Nike Art Gallery, to Lekki Conservation, that's generation of revenue for these resorts. But if you say, oh, we are going to Dubai straight, I know some people, they've never been to Lagos, and I bet them in London, or the only time they get to Lagos is when they are traveling. So how do you now say Lagos is not safe, or Nigeria is not safe, when I've been traveling the same roads? I would say the major problem in Lagos or Nigeria is infrastructure, not even the security.
Wow, so like the roads and things like that?
Oh yes, imagine if you have to go to Badagry now. Before it used to be like an hour, 20 minutes tops. But now, the roads are not accessible. And I'm happy Lagos State is there, so. Yes. Yes.
It's a federal.
And that's why we need Lagos State to help us.
Wow.
Because if you look at it now, to go to Badagry now, there's a new resort in Badagry. I'm not taking any brief for anybody. It's called Sailor Harbour. And they have a 2-bedroom there. And to spend a night there is 250,000. Just 2 rooms. So when you look at the cost, how much do they fuel boats from boat to Badagry and back? And then the Jara Beach, Eco Access, is a 150,000 naira per night. And then you put the cost together, how much do they make? Some of these people are off the grid. They are generating their light, they're paying staff. And then you think about the cost of getting to that place is even high. Before we get a bus to Ekpe Axis, they take you for the 50,000. Now they're charging 80,000. We spread the cost on the domestic tour operators. Yes, but for the boat owners, they are complaining of the cost. There's no subsidy in their petrol. And for us at Talk to Nigeria, what our own value started on was to give every low-income family that luxury of traveling within Nigeria. If you can't do Dubai, you can do Landmark. You can do Jara Beach. You can do Lakowe. So the basic thing is we looked at the structure for families with low income, civil servant, a family of 5. Can they afford to go to Ghana at 200K for COVID? Even that's not even with the tickets. So at the end of the day, we look at more models like going to Omo Beach Resort. Omo Beach, they have packages for 37,000 for a family of 5. You don't have to break a bank. You can go to places under 50K for a family of 5. But the only thing is, people don't know this. And like Steve Jobs always said, people don't buy what they don't see. So as a tour operator in Lagos, my basic thing I've done is showing people every day where they can go for free, for cheap. Even sometimes, you can just go sightseeing without paying. There's some beach access, you can just take a walk without paying. And there's some private ones, there are beach houses. So there's a class for everybody who wants to do leisure in Lagos. There are places that you can pay ₦1 million a night in Lagos as a beach resort, yes, on the island, ₦1 million a night. And there are places you can pay 500. And then if you want to feel the luxury, you can come to Marriott. It starts in $280 for a night. So everybody has something to gain inside the domestic tourism. We don't have to all go to Dubai. We can keep helping building their economy instead of denying our own. When you talk about resorts in Nigeria not having the standard internationally, then you look at yourself, how much have you spent in this economy? You're going to Dubai, you're thinking of the flight, the COVID test now comes in play, your travel insurance, and the whole work. So why not spend $500,000 in Lagos for 5 days and enjoy your stay? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. And what I picked from what you said was infrastructure. If we can get that right, that would help and encourage, more people to enjoy local tourism. So I'm going to build on that and ask Clara. So he's talked about being visible, because the truth is some people don't know that these things exist. We just hear, oh, tourism. I know it's interesting because it's not really peculiar to Nigeria. I mean, I go to the UK sometimes, and people in the UK don't know what's around them. You are the one telling them, oh, there's the London Eye, there's this. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm here to work, go to school, And so I'd like to ask Clara, how do you use branding? Because I know that part of what you do is branding, and also technology to help us, leverage, help us see what we have so that people can start to experience these things.
Okay, hello. I did note some things in a presentation, I had already prepared to give me pointers to some of these things. And to be honest with you, I think it's because we've not really been intentional about tourism in Nigeria, so to say. I mean, because in East African countries, it's basically their own oil. And they are very intentional about their promotions and their branding. You have even other countries. Is it okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you have even other countries being, would I say, taking a niche from East Africa to market safaris to foreigners coming into, to tell you how lucrative that sector is. An American can sit in America, own a tourism company, and his market is Africa, marketing safaris into Kenya, Tanzania, Zanzibar, and the rest of them. So if you don't have a strategy, you don't have a design, you don't have branding at the back of your mind, I think we're still at the primary stage of understanding what this market is all about. First, it has to be distinct, what you stand for, what you represent. I'm very proud of what some young Nigerians are doing. I'm on Instagram with a lot of them. They are actually the purveyors of this domestic tourism we're talking about, because they take their time out to get their friends, get people who really want to go, take them to places like Osun State, the waterfalls there and everything, and they take pictures of it and they put on Instagram. And these are the things the world is looking at, to understand that there are places like this in Nigeria, and that's where it starts from. When any of them are truly known for something, it becomes a brand they are building. And if somebody then gets in touch with them and says, can you organize this stuff for us? It's because they've seen the trajectory of what that person is doing. But they can then take it a notch higher. Now the internet has become a leveler. You're not looking at the big brands only now as the only people building brands. As an individual, a traveler, what you call it now, an influencer, you can become a brand on your own. But what would you be known for? There's this lady I follow on Instagram, Oneka. She's a traveler. She just got an Emmy Award recently because of the travels she does. When you begin to design your own brand to be known for something, the world then follows that pattern you're following and begins to understand if they put money on you, would you as an influencer be able to get them returns, ROI, in terms of what they're investing on you? So in building your brand, most of the major factors you have to take into consideration, I limited them to 3. You first have to understand what you stand for. Are you taking a niche? Like in domestic tourism, is it adventures you're focusing on? Is it ecotourism you're focusing on? Is it leisure you're focusing on? So once you take that, then you take a color that you want to be known for, so that wherever you are and people connect you with that color and see it, they know this is this person exactly that I'm following. And as you begin to build up, consistency finally becomes what will make the breakthrough for you. And that's really the simple attributes of brand building. Your color, consistency, and what people know you for. Yes, if it's ecotourism, adventures, or leisure that you're doing.
Wow. So you're saying, I still have another question. So are you saying that a lot of these tourist destinations, first of all, what do we do about those destinations? Is it that we have to have representatives there? Or is it you tourist guides now, you people that organize these tourist trips for us that now have to work on this branding. How about those places themselves being visible? You know, and saying we're here, find us, you know, and not necessarily
you
individuals.
have to work as partners. It's collaboration. Yeah, it's partnership, actually, yes. And that's why I did say about government policies. You see, rural tourism is so powerful, but we don't still yet understand it. If we have small Airbnbs managed by families in those locations where you have those waterfalls and everything, that's economic empowerment already.
Yeah.
And if they are on digital spaces and people know they can book directly and go to, you know, that waterfalls, and there's an Airbnb there waiting for them, and the family manages
have them pick them up, all of that. Drive
so
them
all
through.
that falls in place. So it's partnerships and collaborations that can really truly grow the industry.
Technology.
Exactly.
No, I'm asking technology. So how can from what you're saying, you said a lot about Instagram.
Yes.
So that means that the digital space is very important to leverage on. So we're talking Instagram, Facebook, you know, even our bulk SMS messages that we send, WhatsApp and all of that, you know. So you've said a lot about it, but I just want you to emphasize a bit more how technology can also help, you know, in us leveraging this our local experiences.
Okay, so it's what I've been focusing on for the past 3 years now, and I can assure you it's very massive. Imagine now, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we didn't have Google Maps. You couldn't sit in your hotel in Lagos and say you want to go somewhere, and you are beginning to think of navigating. How am I going to locate that street? Who would I ask? Even the taxi man might not even know where it is. But you're sitting in your hotel and you go on Waze or Google Map and you type in your street, and you first of all have an overview of where that place is in Lagos. So you begin to chart your journey. And then we talk about payments, fintech. Now I don't have to carry my cash any longer. I would have made all my transactions and bookings right online even before I arrive at the city. And then when you think of other travel technologies that allows you to immerse yourself in where you're going to through augmented reality or virtual reality.
Wow, yeah, that's true.
If you're going into Obunike Lake, you have an overview of
what it looks like.
What it looks like. So you're connected already to the place. By the time you arrive physically, you point to pointers and say, oh, I saw this there in the virtual reality. So it is so. I had a friend once, Oni, who told me that Sony was actually thinking about investing heavily in VR for countries to take tourism to the next level in terms of, you first of all, if you're coming into Lagos, for instance, at the airport, you walk into Sony stand and have a feel
experience
of what Lagos is exactly before you come into Lagos, and that makes you connected to the city in that way. So it's such a huge area that we haven't yet understood, and the bottom line is, how do you monetize it? Because it must pay you if you're going to use technology to grow your business at the end.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Very enlightening as well. So I'm coming to you, Nena. Every time I see Nena, she has her hair traditionally done. She's always wearing either Ankara or Dire. She sells Nigeria, literally. You know, and I think we were discussing over the phone, and I was saying, I mean, Burna Boy just won the biggest music award. What has he done for Nigeria? You know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to be that, oh, he's won it, and then people are thinking, where is he from? Where does he live? Well, you know, and then start to experience those places. So how can we use our culture, our arts, our entertainment, Nollywood, all of those things to bring, you know, to leverage, to make sure that people are experiencing what we have here? You know, so that's my question to you. Because you are selling it already, you're selling absolutely well. You know, tell us how the rest of us can start to do that.
All right, so who watches KTV here? Who knows what KTV is? Okay, who watches Korean TV movies? You know, praise the Lord. Oh my God.
Oh, you thought you were the only one?
I don't watch it.
Oh, okay.
But have you learned how to speak Korea when watching those people? Have you learned about their culture? You have, because they are portraying their culture on TV. That is what we are supposed to be doing. Nollywood is doing well with that, and they are, because if I go to Ghana now and they know I'm Nigerian, Aki Apopo, oh, I know this person, and they say, they won't greet me in Igbo. I'll be like, wow, you guys have learned. So for us, we need to keep portraying that. I mean, like, the Chinese people speak their languages. They dress themselves. And when you see them, no, this is a Chinese. We need to use our outfits to do that. I mean, we're just wasting our fashion by not even portraying ourselves. Like, if I go anywhere now, when they see me, are you Kenyan or South African? Because they'll see me wear my dress, wear my Adidas shoes, and wonder. So those things really matter. It teaches people about your culture. Just seeing you alone, dressed as you are, from your head to your toe, can tell where you're from, can let people know what you do, and also like let people know that, okay, I like you. I like what you're wearing. Please, where can I get this? Oh, I have this idea. There's a lady in Lagos. Her name is Empire Tribe. She makes this thing. Oh, I want one. Before I know, another person asked me, I want one. Before I know it, I'm sending this same idea to like 4 people in different countries. That alone is portraying tourism. So tourism is not just visiting. It's how we look. And she said something about branding. It's our branding. So you dress this way and people know that, okay, oh, she's African. Where in Africa are you from? Are you West African? Oh, where in Nigeria are you from? Oh, you're Igbo? I'm married to Yoruba. Do you know that alone has let someone know who I am? So for me, when I'm dressing up to represent not just Nigeria, but Africa. So for me, this is branding. The way you dress, the way you carry yourself. And if you can speak your language and teach people once in a while, why not? So that's it. It's a branding thing. And if you watch TV and you watch CNN, you see some countries like India will do their adverts. People are dressing their Indian outfits. They are eating Indian food. Incredible India. It sticks in your head. So for me, if we can do that for Nigeria alone, do you think people will not want to come here? They would. We only show them the bad things.
Yeah, like
we
you
need
said.
to show them
Yeah.
the good things. And it starts with you being a brand, the way you dress, the way you talk, the things you do. So for me, when I was building my brand, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I need to represent what I want to sell. I want to sell Nigeria, Abi. I want to sell Africa. Dress the part. So that's it for me.
So this entertainment, because me, I'm very interested in that part. I'm wondering why our music is played everywhere. It's amazing. But guess what? They just hear this music. And I'm not seeing them being excited to say, let's go to where the music is coming from. Do you know what I mean?
Are we selling it? CM. Oh,
yeah.
Lord. We have the music. We have the culture. We have everything. How are we selling it? So it's not just also dressing the part. You have to also be able to, even you as an individual, are you selling Nigeria? We ourselves are afraid to allow our friends to come to Nigeria, are we not? Your friend is coming from the north. Lagos, if you come, don't go to Yaba. If you go to Yaba, that corner there, they will hide you. So even you dressing, how are you selling your country? Are you saying the good things? So yes, they like our songs, like everything, but we're not even telling them, come to Nigeria. Come to Lagos, I'll take you around. We have this tour, we have that tour. So it's not just dressing, it's also inviting people. So we now have Nollywood, right? They're doing these things. People want to come to Nigeria. See, people want to come to Nigeria, Funke, but there's no package out there. Let me give an example. When I first started, I did blog posts about different tour operators. I reached out to them individually and I did an interview and all that. I put it on my blog, right? 2 years later, I had a guy send me an email from my website, from my blog, said, hello, hi, I'm from the Americans. I'm a Black American. I've been looking to come to Nigeria for a long time. I traced my route to Nigeria. But for almost 2 years, I've not been able to find a reliable tour operator. Wow. So I went to Google, and your website came up, and I saw the different tour operators you interviewed. Please, who of all these people can you recommend so I can come to Nigeria? I was like, wow. All right, so I replied the guy, connected him to one of our tour operators. This guy buzzed me February 2019. By November 2019, this guy was in Nigeria. He toured some places, put it on social media, was really shouting, Nigeria, you guys have so much. Why are you guys not telling people? I'm gonna bring my Black people here. We're gonna come and protest. And my mom was like, aha. That's how it starts. So the truth is that they want to come. What do we have packaged for them? India. You think they're not poor in India? They don't have wildlife. You think they're not cleaning themselves? But they're packaging themselves so well that people want to come. We see their Indian movies. Who watches Bollywood? Oh, what's the thing Bollywood called again? Z World. People watch Z World. I said, okay, I want to go to India. You think they don't have somebody who's already packaging tours for them? If you check with some of these stations, they have tour operators they're working with. If people reach out to them, connect with this person, make our money, sell our country. We need to do that. That's where that branding thing comes. And I like what she said. The colors, the dresses, everything about us really matters. So it's not just being out there. What do we have to offer these people that will make them come?
Can I chip in a
Yes,
bit
please.
before we round up? For me, because this is what I have done, this is the only thing I live on, tourism. But I still think the government needs a big part to play in this. And I'll say this from the entertainment industry. I think the 4 of my favorite movies of all time has been centered around Nigeria. Bruce Willis' Tears of the Sun. The whole storyline was about Abacha and them coming to rescue female American doctor and a priest in Nigeria. The biggest of them all was Wakanda. The storyline too was about Chibok girls. There's Captain America, the Marvel comic. It was about civil war in Nigeria. And you know the annoying thing, not 1 minute of any of
Was
those
done here.
was shown in Nigeria. And when you look at the James Bond movies like a brand, everywhere they shoot James Bond movie, look at the end of their roll call in Turkey, in Rome, in Morocco, in Egypt. And we are making a huge loss not using our industry. I am sick and tired of, anytime they put up Kanayo's face, we know what's going down. It's ritual.
Yeah.
For crying out loud. It shouldn't be that. We should start using our story. When they shot the movie The CEO by Kunle Afolayan, a lot of people didn't even know that was in Nagbe. So I think it is high time, and thank God for COVID. Because when the new video of one of these P Square, Peter was shot recently, this new video, it was shot at La Manga Beach because they couldn't travel. Now people should start looking inwards. When you do a movie now, put somewhere in Jara Beach, on the hills of Obudu. I saw a picture yesterday. It was a wedding destination in front of the river, and it was in Ilorin. They put a marquee there, roses, and you could tell this is Maldives, and it is in Ilorin, not even in Lagos. People are now looking at wedding destinations in Lagos. You don't need to use a hall anymore. Come to La Campagne, come to Whispering Palms, and take lovely, pictures that you can tell your son tomorrow. We did it in Dubai, and that was lying. It was in Lagos. So until we start using the entertainment industry, look at the Burna Boys then. And I think since Lagos State is here, I think I'm going to say some of these things. That for these young folks, they should make them brand ambassadors of Lagos.
Oh, that's so true.
When Burna Boy won the award, I was so glad. He did his video shoot for the Grammy at our iconic National Theatre. So when you start seeing things like this, it's either we pay them, we So I think it's high time we use what we have instead of selling other countries. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Do we have time to take questions from? Okay. Yes, please. Can you give her a mic? Can you give her a mic, please? Thank you.
I just need to say this. Now that I am in this space, I can understand that the things I want to say. You know what? The public, the citizens, they don't trust government. We are just building the trust. So the onus is on you that they trust to engage with them. We've engaged with some of them to come and be our brand ambassadors for Lagos State. Mba. No.
Wow.
Do you understand? Do you know, number one, NSAS. Number two, they don't want to be seen that government is bribing them.
Let them bribe us. We sell Lagos State every day. I'll take the money because I've been selling Lagos for the last 10 years.
No, they don't. Because immediately they start working with us, they become compromised not to say anything against us. Not to say anything against us. And so they would rather go to 7-Up and this and, you know, to private sector to be their brand ambassadors. And that's one of the pushbacks that we're getting. And so we are relying on you, on all of you in that space, do you understand, to help, to sell, to you know, engage with them, to let them know, to let them understand that this is what, we are the only ones who can help ourselves. I was in a shop the other day in UK, and I was listening, I'd even forgotten myself, it was a boot. And I was listening to Asha, you know, and I was just bobbing my head, and then I just said, I'm in London, okay? do you understand? There was a wedding that's trending. There's a wedding that's trending now. Nigerians, we are, as a nation, we are influencers to the world. There was a wedding, white wedding, white. They were spraying. You know that machine that they used to spray? The machine. It was not even using hand. They were using machine to be spraying, and they were singing. It was one of the Nigerian artists' songs. And they were all, their dance was, you know, a bit like Lagbaja saying, but they were dancing. It was Nigerian music at a white wedding. You know, and have you seen all of these white ladies trending with their men eating eba? There was one woman, she was actually speaking Igbo with her children. Do you understand? So naturally, we are influencers. Without even having to make, now we just need to be more deliberate for our target audience, for the markets that we want. We just need to become more deliberate. But we can't do it. The government now, they don't trust us enough. There's no confidence. There's nothing. Do you understand? People still see God until we are able to bridge that gap. Just as we started bridging it, NSTAR scheme. We had a show, Echo on show, right? It was a struggle to get the artists to come. We were paying them. It's not that we're not paying them, and they're not cheap, but it was a struggle. And what were they saying? NSAS is coming to the first year anniversary. If we're here, you see, we were trying to, they totally, you know when you don't think about something. We were trying to say, you know, it's Nigerian independence, you know, it's celebration, let's get into that. We didn't think of that. And then some of the artists started saying, that means that in their space, they're talking about NSAS. And they don't want to be involved so that they're not compromised, because the people then, their followers will start seeing them as, oh, government is already inviting you. You are now romancing government. You will not be able to talk. You will not be able to, you understand? We didn't even bother to touch files with a badge pole. You understand? We didn't even bother because we knew already there are certain people that whether there was NSAS or there was no NSAS, they were just anti-government. So we wouldn't go there. It was no longer about entertainment for them. It has become a personal conversation for them. And so we are really, really, and that's why we're having, when they see us, you're doing something. That's what Goge Africa did. Right? Goge Africa was not marketing themselves. They were in a roundabout way marketing Lagos waterways. But we said, you know what, you be the face. Say we're partnering with you. So that you are the one. So if you say your whatever tour you have, and you say you are the face, you're partnering with Lagos State, but you are the one inviting that person. You are the one engaging that person. But Lagos State is also a partner. Why? Why are they partners? Because we are in the States. They are our host states. You understand? There's so many reasons that you can use that they don't have to know the high-level information. Those are the kind of things that we're trying to do. Yes, of course. We've been doing that. Ume, have we not? That's how we do. That's why we say we partner. You see, when we partner, We might not be able to give you money at all times. Do you understand? We're government. It's
Is that
taxpayers' money.
go that we need?
However, we have a calendar. We have a calendar. And say this your event is going to be here. That's what is called institutional support. So we can support you institutionally, put you in our calendar of events. By the time we put you, we're distributing that calendar. Everybody knows about your event. Do you understand? There are certain things. Oh, we can give you a letter of endorsement when we know the quality of what you want to do. And we know the credibility that is behind your organization or your company. Then we'll give you letters of endorsement, which you can take to your sponsors and say, look, Lagos State is endorsing it. It's supporting us by endorsing this, and they have confidence in us that we will deliver. And then they will give you sponsorship, the private organizations. Those are some of the things that we do. You can call us to come and talk there. Do you understand? So that they can see the face of the government at your event, just like we're doing here. But you can't work with us at a distance or from a distance. You have to come and engage with us. That's part of the non-confidence you have in government. You see that it's playing out already. It's playing out already. But you cannot stay in that space for too long. You need to come and see. Try it. You can't stay and just say this is what they've said. You have to take a step of faith and try it and see, and then go back and say, no, it's not working. I tried it. Rather than just, oh, they said.
So that's what we hear.
That's what you hear.
It's perception.
But that's what we're saying. Now you've become an advocate that it's not government, stay your own. That's one of the reasons why you're here. That's one of the reasons why we're having this conversation. Do you understand? So you try and you will see. At least I've mentioned 2 people now. There's Goge Africa. There's quite a lot of them. There's quite a lot of them. Aquaba, there's, we throw our face at Uyo, just all of these things that we do. Just to let them know that we are open to having collaborative efforts with the private organizations, private sectors, and all of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. It's always good when we have the other side of the story. Because if they were not here, we would have just been bashing government. Okay, Ma.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to add to what my peers have said, maybe because you have never reached out to government, the organizers of this show reached out to us. Mr. Balogu brought them to my office. He knows me, he knows my commissioner, and I said, okay, let me get the whole ministry involved. Go and do a letter to the PAMSEC and to the commissioner, because they are both women. So when you reach out to us, definitely we'll be part of it. This is the first time I'm attending any of their events, and this is the first time they reached out. And then we say to our stakeholders, are you registered under the association? We deal with associations like FTAN. There you have the tour operators, you have travel agencies, you have the boat people. So if you're registered with them as a tour operator, we will deal with you one way or the other. No, I said travel agencies. I said boats. Even venue owners. So we feel more comfortable when we are dealing with you as an association, not as individuals. Though we deal with some individuals as well. The Aquaba organizer, Mr. Ike Chiuko, we deal with him as a member of FTAN, and then as somebody who has done so much for tourism, exactly. Ask him, we've been partnering for the past 5 years. So don't sit there and say government is not. You reach out to us, and we are always there for you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think we need to balance the issues here. I've heard a lot, and it just shows our enthusiasm. My sister first said, government has to be intentional. She said so. I heard you. Now, I was going to ask, Nana, how do you make money? I was going to ask you, how do you make money? Now, when we start asking these questions, we don't want charlatans around the industry who just have fun. It's good. Now, with all the things we're talking about, virtual reality, all of that, very good. 15 years ago, when they are sending you a tour package, they will put the pictures. Waka now began it. Now it's been made easy for everybody. But tourism works through channels. The moment those channels are not established, it's all fun we are going to have. And so we have people who are short-lived in the industry. 1 year, 2 years, they're tired. And you won't find them anymore. Because they didn't understand how to engage. I can remember when I and Ikechi were in WTM 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Is he adding up? We'll be asking. They're asking, is he adding up? Now, is he not adding up today? Now, you just give an example about how you placed some names on your website. I'm not sure they paid you, but you got them business. That did that. Beautiful. So that's because there was a channel for you to put that through. Now we have this Tojum is doing Idere Hill. The other had to call him and say, Tojum, come. Do you have an agreement with the landowners? I said, Tojum, you're about to blow Idere Hill. That's an individual. Now who's doing that? But there has to be a connection to economy. So Tojum, I know what you're doing, but come. The moment it blows, they will kick you out. Now, Madam is very correct. We have bad governance. It's affecting us, but let's not go there. And she's even telling you that we are afraid to go so that they don't identify us, so that they don't spoil our business. That is a reality. But you know what? We're not making it a business. When we had, I think, Akwaba of 2019, Akwaba of 2016, we brought young tour operators. There were young CEOs. And if you're a CEO, then you have to establish how you get paid. So we're not talking about fun. The fun is okay. Now, Michael is talking authoritatively because he's been in the industry. He's a tour operator. So you can hear the way he is speaking. All you need to do, you talk about branding. There are too many things to do about the industry. Too many things. But we're not consistent. We're not business oriented. We're just hovering around the place and thinking it's not working. No. It's working. But let us understand. We know the role government should play. They're not playing it. Our music is everywhere. We're not connecting it to the destination. There's no connection. And those connections are because we also are not, okay, I'm a tour operator. Maybe Obudu can cross river and all of that. 48 hours in Calabar, 48 hours in Abuja, that's a product. But how many people know about it? So we have to be a bit deliberate. Yeah. And we have charlatans who will show up only to play association, but they have no business. Exactly. I have a guy who is setting up Rabon. He's president of Rabon restaurant and whatever. He doesn't own one restaurant. And he's playing tourism politics. And I'm like, what's all this? What do you do? And so when this happens, you're going to have associations that are not bearing to the industry. Now, can you be in this hall? They're now telling us that women are the tea that hospital, that they run the hospital. That's not even the issue. The issue is that will you be in this hall if you're not a woman who's working in the hospitality industry? What are you doing here? Because this is what this is all about. They are being empowered at this level, and we're now talking about statistics. So if you're low the wrong, what do I do to climb? And we're now checking. So we check statistics, and so we get to a point we now have major trains in our country run by 10 women. Then you can look for money to fund what you want to do. There's mentorship in your program, isn't it?
Yes.
So how do you mentor the rest? So it's a process. Okay, so we have basic problems. We're talking about NTDC. Because of that, and we're being funny about it. We're thinking it's about individuals. No, it's not about individuals. That organization is illegal. As far as the 2013 court judgment is concerned, it's illegal. It's just supposed to run under FCDA. You can see Madam talking authoritatively because tourism is in the states. That's the law. But now, tourism is supposed to be a national government matter. But because of that distortion in legal business, we can't play it right. So the first thing is, how do we go about that law? Which is what the NTC itself has been trying to do. But they can't because there's a bigger law. It has to be done from somewhere. There's a Supreme Court judgment. So the moment we have these issues not sorted out. Madam, I just talked about SON, Standard Organization. And they're thinking about classifying hotels. You can't try it in Lagos. Alabi won't let you try it. Classify to standardize products, not services. So the day you come near anybody's hotel, they will deal with you. they would derobe them. We're now asking, then how do we classify hotels? There has to be a council. Some things have to happen. Madam just telling me, can we now bring the states who are, passionate on tourism together so we can start from there? I'm happy for what she told us, that this document called the master plan will be in the file. That's why Lagos has been progressive. Now, Cross River for 16 years invested in tourism. One governor came, threw everything away. Yeah. So, if Lagos is supposed to have a marina, what are we talking about? And we're getting there. So, this is what we are saying. So, there's a process to it. My young people, tourism must walk through channels. No matter how you're branding it, there has to be people on ground to take.
My question is, I'm even glad the FTAN president is here, because recently when they were doing the FTAN election, when I saw the objective of FTAN, I said, hey. And all these coordinators have been established.
In Lagos State and NTDC, Lagos State won that case to the Supreme Court. Now, what that now means is that with that case, that court judgment, Lagos State might not answer anybody who calls them. You can't go into Lagos State and tell them that you want to come and collect money in their state. They'll tell you, where are you coming from? Now, you already heard the of the VAT. We've heard the VAT controversy. Now, that's how it began. So if there's a Supreme Court judgment that says states are the ones to collect, what will you do? You won't go anywhere, isn't it? So that's why we're saying that we need to amend and then talk together to find out how do we make these bodies work. There used to be what we call Presidential Council on Tourism. And now that was because there are several ministries involved in tourism. Now, what was it all about? You had Minister of Environment, you had Federal Minister of Finance, all of them together had to do with tourism. So the president of the country was in Obasanjo's time, used to be the president of PCT, so that he can harmonize everything that has to do with tourism. That is not functioning today. So that's why tourism looks like an orphan. Now, entities cannot effect anything in the states authoritatively, but they're just around there to passively, persuasively act with them. And so we can definitely say that, okay, this body that is not backed up by law, certain things can happen, but they are still there, and the Nigerians who work there. So all we are saying is that there's a way to go about it. Let there be collaborations. You can now talk to the 36 commissioners, put them together, and begin to drive tourism. That's exactly what we're saying. We're not talking about the fact that we are the ones who made it illegal or something. No. It is because of that judgment, it has affected its status. And so that's why the states are behaving the way they are behaving, because they know it's their rights. So states don't dovetail to anything federal government when it comes to tourism or whatever. They are on their own to act with the local governments and all of that. So that's why we make that statement. It's not meant for us to put down anybody, because there are still Nigerians who work there. There's a DG who works there as well, who's been appointed. You get what I mean? So that's why we're saying that. That's why you can't, if you wake up now and tell Lagos State, say he wants to collect tax from hotels. You know what I mean? They know that there will be some issues. So what do? They negotiate. There's an organization that picketed somewhere here for, what do they call it now? MCVR, what do they call it? And they just sued Hilton now for 1 billion. So you're supposed to pay those things to the hotels. And if you're not paying, you can't, there's a law to it. So these laws are there to guide us, and we need to know which one to apply, which ones will not apply. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This has been a very, very interesting and informative panel. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank my panelists, Clara, Nena, and Mr. Michael. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the... You cannot do another.